Right, Paul. So we'll start with your team news then for the weekend. Have you got any fresh injuries after the win at Dover?
Yeah, obviously there were Giles right at the end. That was nothing. I don't know, I'll give him a bit of stick for that. He seemed in a lot of pain and then there was nothing there. I think Danny Amos came off, but he's fine. Just towards the end, it was more just a bit of a cramp and just no point risking it. And then the one that we are going to be missing is Arjan, unfortunately. He came off. I think it was a combination of a kick and he stood getting caught in the ground a little bit. Having sort of spoke to him since, and he's still struggling a little to walk around, certainly comfortably on like what's Dave Moore's explained as kind of almost a high calf, if that makes any sense. Probably more sense to some people than others. But a bit of swelling there, so he's not available. We're hoping it's an awkward one, I think, for the medical team to say exactly when he'll be back at the minute. But we're certainly not expecting him to have him for these next couple of games. Fingers crossed, back for Yeovil, but that's not certainly can't say with any confidence at this present time.
Has he been for a scan or will he need a scan?
He's having a scan today. He's actually returned to Aston Villa just to. He went home yesterday, and as a result, we kind of liaised with the club, and they've got him for a scan today, and we'll get the reports back later today.
That's a shame for you because he's had a really good start to his Grimsby Town career, hasn't he?
He has. I think he's a player that wants to get on the ball. He kind of starts a lot of the playoff. I think last week, along with the team, it wasn't his best game, or wasn't our best game overall. But we again got the job done, was the main thing. But a little frustrating to lose him, certainly, because, as you say, he's settled in really well. And I think you can tell that he's certainly a good footballer.
Where are we at with some of the injured players then? So Jordan Maguire-Drew, how is he progressing?
Slowish. Certainly won't be available to us. None of the lads out. We've got no one back from injury for this weekend, or certainly the Southend game. So from that point of view, the squad is stretched, I suppose. I think it's 6 we've got out injured. Obviously, out on loan at York. Luke Spokes out on loan. So yeah, we not quite bare bones, but my decisions for the team and for the match day squad are very limited, shall we say. I don't have to make too many decisions, but again, we get on with it. We still will have a good team out on the pitch, and hopefully we can get the job done again.
Could Ryan Taylor be available for Yeovil?
Possibly. He's making good progress. He's the one that, as we speak, looks like he will be the first one back. Again, we're still at the early stage with regards to he hasn't joined in any training or anything like that, but he has been out on the training pitch and worked at quite a high intensity. So that would be best case scenario would be Yeovil. And again, as we speak, it's certainly a possibility. So that obviously from my point of view, that's what I would like to happen.
And Max Wright, he went for a scan last time we spoke with his ankle problem. Is there any more on that?
No, Max is still sore, and I think we're talking weeks there rather than anything sooner. So, as we've said before, a frustrating time for him, but he's just got to get his head down. He knows what he needs to do in the gym, get the work done, and hopefully get back as soon as he can.
And then just finally on injuries, how's Ben Fox progressing?
He's progressing well, but I think if anyone came and saw Ben and spoke to Ben, it's all really positive, which is great. Certainly from even just a mental aspect, that's good news. However, because of the injury that it was, and with tendon being involved, I think it's probably at a stage where he feels he's fine, but ultimately the repair won't have occurred in the injury. And I think we've certainly, through the medical team here, have spoke to and looked at some other cases of it. Certainly a couple of high-profile ones. They've never been back before 8 weeks, and that was Ben's sort of best case was 8 weeks, and we're still some time away from that because it was only the Notts County game when it happened, so it wasn't that long ago. So it's great in one respect, but I think it could potentially give people false sort of hope, or if we didn't have the knowledge, just the risk of saying, "Oh, go on then, you can join in next week" or something. And unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. So, got to be careful with it. If we can get him back, maybe a few days or a week earlier, fantastic. But we certainly still some time away from it, Elliot.
Well, it's good to hear that he's progressing well. Looking at Woking then at the weekend, they've sacked their manager this week. Does that make things tougher for you in your preparation and the potential for fighting against a bit of a reaction from them?
Possibly. Again, I don't think anyone knows for certain. Each sort of scenario is different at each club. I'm not privy to the players are disappointed that the manager's gone, whether some of them will be relieved, or whether as we speak at least, I haven't seen anything to the contrary that the assistant manager will take the team. Just because he's been assistant doesn't mean that they'll play in exactly the same way. And even in the game last week against Notts County, maybe partly because of the injury that Lofthouse got early in the game, but they changed formation a few times within that game. So from a preparation point of view of saying Woking or this, that's been difficult. What reaction the players give, again, we don't know. Obviously, I'm hoping it's not much of one. It would be the best case for us. But I think all it does is just puts more emphasis on ourselves, and we try to do that anyway. Do his research, still watch the games, but as I said, he could come and play. He might, have a totally different system that he thinks suits the players that he's working on this week. I guess we'll find out on Saturday.
What have you made of their season in general? Because obviously they started the season quite well when you beat them back in October. That was quite a top of the table clash at the time, and obviously now they're 16th in the division.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it's the first year, to my knowledge, that they've gone full time. I'm not sure what their expectation is. What their kind of overall budget is, etc. But I dare say they might have been a team that started the season almost too well again to heighten expectations for people at the club. Probably think they can finish higher than where they currently are. I would probably say that. But ultimately, as we I keep saying, this is a tough league. It's a really tough league, and look at the teams that are above them. I don't know. As I said, that's for them and it's their thing. But how many do they, truthfully feel that they can finish above? And that's, I guess, part of the challenge. You always want to try and still overachieve. And they've certainly got some good players there. We pinched one of them. Well, not pinch, but you know what I mean. We took one of them away, albeit he hadn't played loads for them. But they've got some good players, and we need to be wary of that, wary of the threats still, no matter how they line up. Certainly a big team, a very big team. So corners, things like set plays, you have to try and make sure that we're organised and make it as difficult as possible for some of those big players that they do have, and obviously try and minimise the amount of free kicks and things we give away, which would always help.
I know he's been injured for some of his spell there, but what have you made of David Long-King's progress while he's been with Woking?
I think that's a problem. He's been injured too much since he went. Unfortunately, the injuries took some time. Spoke to Dave last Friday. He's back in training. Wasn't involved at the weekend. Wasn't sure if he'd have been on the bench. And obviously this week he can't be involved. So it's not gone quite as we would have all liked. But hopefully he can get back in the team maybe after this weekend and get the games that we would like him to get. But ultimately, again, he's got to earn that right and show either, whether it's I don't know if they've said caretaker manager or whatever way he wants to play it, or a new manager, that he deserves to be in the team.
Momentum's obviously plays such a huge part of your season on both sort of ends of the spectrum, with the good start and then the bad run in the middle. You must be delighted that you've strung another 5 games together unbeaten, and you've got that confidence from earlier in the season that can become even longer.
Yeah, that's the aim and what we like or would like to happen. It's, I guess, you never know what's going to happen, Elliot. That's why I guess part of the reason people love football and also hate football at times is no certainties or guarantees with anything. What we've done is enjoyed the results. I think we've played better, certainly than the last couple of games, and lost games. So we, as again, when we've lost games, said not everything's wrong, and on some occasions been really happy with performance. Last couple we've won, haven't been totally happy in truth, but we've certainly done enough to win the games. I don't think there's any question about that. Having watched the Dover game back again and looked at, specifically the chances for and against, we had more. We certainly had more, and in the end, it was relatively comfortable. But I don't go away from the fact I don't want us to give up as many chances and situations, and on another day that could have cost us. Thankfully it didn't. But I wanted to try and get back to clean sheets, although the run's been better. Ironically, the clean sheet comes in, we didn't score a goal and only took a point. But I'd like to, get a few more clean sheets to his name. Just a bit of pride. And obviously it does give you a better chance of winning the game.
With your home form this season, which has been, near enough perfect throughout a few defeats, you must go into every game at Blundell Park just with a renewed sense of, confidence that you can beat anyone in this division.
I hope the players feel that. For me, I think it's, again, it sounds cliche, but it's literally game to game, and each team provides a different challenge. I hope that it maybe plays on the opposition's mind when they do come to Blundell Park. We know that we play in front of a good atmosphere with the fans, and as you say, we've got a good record to look back on. But whether I like it or not, in some ways, Saturday is game that the past counts for very little. It's what happens on the day. But it's been good to, I guess, play at home, and as you said, enjoyed good results for a large part of the games that we have played there. And I think we're going to need to continue that run between now and May the 12th, I think it is, if we want to get into the positions where a season will continue.